Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another review. This time around, we're here to review Mafia: The Old Country. Now, I know this is a couple of weeks late. Things have just been kind of crazy for us, but the video is here, the review is here, so let's get going and talk about Mafia: The Old Country and why it's one of my favorite games of 2025. So, uncover the origins of organized crime in Mafia: The Old Country, a gritty mob story set in brutal underworld of 1900s Sicily. Fight to survive as Enzo and prove your worth to the family in this immersive third-person action adventure set during a dangerous and unforgiving era. So, Mafia: The Old Country, you play as Enzo, and at the beginning of the game, you're kind of set as pretty much a jailed slave laborer. And once you kind of break free of that, due to certain circumstances, it is then your task in your own, in your own mind, to really prove your worth to this mob family. And with that, this is where Enzo's character really starts to change and turn from a more kind of ferocious, survival instinct type of character to a member of an organized crime family. So the crazy thing about this game is how well it was put together in the visual aspects. When I say this, I mean it. I really am kind of floored by the job that Hangar 13 and 2K did with the visuals of this game. There's so many times that I'm playing the game and I was stopping and going to photo mode and taking pictures, or I was just really engrossed into the story because the visual representation that they had in this game, it really did feel like you were playing in an interactive type of mob movie. It was a very cool and unique experience. Visually, there is a quality mode and a performance mode in the game. I will say I was kind of jumping back and forth, and I've done that a lot with some of the games that I reviewed recently that had this. I don't know, maybe I finally need to realize it might be my TV. I do have a 4K display that's 75 inches. I've had it for a few years now, and it seems like a fairly well-working TV, but there's times that some of these games on PlayStation 5, man, like the performance mode and quality mode, to get true, really great 4K quality in the game, you have to sacrifice having a faster frame rate on a continuous basis. And it is a crazy thing because I don't really understand. I have the ability, of course, playing these games on PlayStation 5 Pro. We have multiple PlayStations in the house. But with this, with the way that I review stuff, I like to review it in the standard of, kind of seeking out the best visual representation. And the way that I have my PS5 Pro set up and all this, I wanted to just see, what does it look like on a base PS5? So I did the entirety of my review on a base PS5, and though the quality and performance modes did have to sacrifice here and there, even though the performance mode was a lower visual quality, I still feel like it was still representing a great visual experience that didn't take it away too much. Now, there was some rough around kind of edges, moments that, like, when I would get too close to Enzo with the camera in the game, you would see like this kind of like buffered, I don't even know how to really say it, buffered, blurred out area like near his head where, I don't know if it was the film grain type of thing that they had on or what, but it was a little strange. But outside of that, if you're planning on playing this game in performance mode, don't fret and think that it's going to be drastically horrible. I will say though, the quality mode is, even though it's at 30 frames per second on PlayStation 5 base, it is really good. And I actually feel like certain games do need to be played in 30 frames per second because it somewhat adds more of a cinematic kind of feel to it. Now, certain action games I don't think like are right to play in 30 frames per second. You need something that is more fast paced, and it kind of gives you a little bit less lag in gameplay and whatever. But with a game like Mafia, the old country, 30 frames per second on the quality mode, I feel like is really kind of what just hit it for me. It made the game feel more cinematic. It also made the overall visuals just kind of, it just felt more kind of slowed down to where I can actually just take my time with the game, which I obviously did. The story of the game is really great. It has some really great twists and turns, but also has some very intense action moments that kind of bring things home in that sense of cinephiles. You know, like I love great Mafia movies. I love great action movies. And this felt like an interactive film that I was just playing and kind of riding along with. Speaking of riding along, another thing that was a little tough at times was the driving of the game. So the driving of the game, it's not more or less that the gameplay mechanics were not proper, but it's like it was so realistic in the sense of like this is how these cars would drive. It is the early 1900s. So a lot of these cars are not going to be something that you're going to be able to turn on a dime. But it was very realistic in that sense that you really had to kind of think while you're driving in the sense of if you're driving this old car and you have it topped out at 50 miles an hour and you're trying to do a quick turn, you're probably going to slam into a wall. Which happened to me multiple times, but overall, the gameplay mechanics of the driving were okay. I would say that sometimes it did feel a little clunky at times, but it is understandable due to the fact that these cars are older and there was more of this authenticity into the driving styles. But there's all different types of stuff that is really great in this game. Of course, the fact that you can upgrade your character, you can customize your character to be the look that how you want him to have. And getting the deluxe edition, I was able to wear specific specific clothing that made me kind of look a little bit more like a mobster. Okay, but it was just I don't really know how else to say it. I know the game has been out for a little bit now, and people have played it, but some people I feel like are still on the kind of line of like, should I get it? Should I not get it? I think this is a definite buy. This is something that you need to play because of the storyline that the game has. It is a very, very in-depth, cinematic type of storyline that I think anybody that really loves story-based games is going to very much enjoy. So as I said, this is one of my favorite games of the year. If you like drama and you like the Mafia kind of action-based games, this is something for you, because what's great about this game is that you don't just go in and do all this action crazy stuff, taking over stores and doing this and this. You have cinematic quests. You have other little side quests where you're learning more about the family and the area, and investigative time frames to where you're kind of looking for more information about what's going on. The more you pick up as you're going along throughout the game, it unlocks more for you information-wise, which is really cool. There's a lot of times that you'll go up and you'll have these newspapers or different little informational items that you'll find throughout the world, and you go back and look at it and really see the testament that they kind of put into making this game authentic with the visual styles, art styles, the music, all this stuff. But I think this is a great game, one of my favorite games of 2025, and I'm definitely going to give it a 5 out of 5. Big shout out to Hangar 13 and 2K for giving us the opportunity to check in this game out, and of course for being so patient with us as we got this review done. In the coming weeks I'll have more reviews and much more. Dante's about to start soccer coming soon, big one right there. Maybe I'll get Dante to talk about a soccer game for you guys. I don't know. Or maybe we'll just play Mario Soccer. I don't know. Anyways, love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace out.